Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So in today's pick a card reading, we are going to be looking at messages and predictions for your month of November 2022. So this reading is going to start off with a general overview of the month, where we're going to be looking at the most significant changes and blessings of the month and just sort of the major energies that you're dealing with. And then we are going to move into looking at specific areas of your life. So we're going to take a look at your love and relationships, your career and studies, and your spiritual and personal growth for the month. So there are 3 readings for you guys to choose from today, and I'm going to show you each of these crystals up close one by one, and please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. For option number 1, we have Titanium Aura Amethyst. For option number 2, we have Pyrite. And for option number 3, we have Malachite. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose the Titanium Aura Amethyst, this is going to be a reading all about your month of November 2022. And we actually have another piece of Titanium Aura Amethyst right here, so I'm gonna put them together. But I wanted to mention, before I started filming for this group, I saw the number 444, so that might be a relevant number for you. In general, I feel like this is a number that means you're safe, you're protected, you're on the right path, your destiny is unfolding, and it's sort of a reassuring number. It's there to soothe you. It's there to let you know that you're safe. It's there to let you know that you have a lot of divine love and divine support around you, and to just keep going and keep doing what you're doing. But I also had this clear visual of a bee. So I wanted to take a look in my spirit animal book and see. I'm sure there's a bee passage. I'm sure I've also read it before and I'm just forgetting. But also, let me turn on the AC because it's really hot. Okay. So let's take a look at our bee passage. Yes, okay, here we go. B, it's time to get organized and get to work on an idea that you want to implement and develop. On that idea. Approach your projects with commitment, diligence, and dedication, and you'll succeed beyond your wildest expectations. Involve several others in a cooperative and life-affirming venture, one in which everyone who participates will benefit, and if possible, one that involves the entire community. Take the time to appreciate and enjoy the sweetness of life. This is a very fertile time for you, physically and creatively, one where you can bring your ideas to fruition. This is a very productive cycle for you, so stay with whatever you're working on and there will be a favorable outcome. Wow, so it looks like this month you guys will be feeling very productive. I'm not sure when you're watching this, maybe it's like the last few days of October or the first few days of November, but Spirit is suggesting to you at this time that you get organized. This is maybe a month where you want to plan out your goals and plan out a timeline, if that's not something that you guys normally do. And now that I'm thinking about it, the number 444, 4 also has to do with structure and order. So maybe this is a month where you are restructuring your routine, or creating a completely new one. But yeah, this is a month of being organized and productive, and it looks like you're going to be very successful in some project. And I feel like this goes for whether you're doing it on your own or doing it within a group. You are sure to find success. Life affirming, I actually don't know what this means, but it's giving me the feeling of something that is fulfilling, something that reminds you that you're doing a good job and that you're really in the right role for you. And then this is a very fertile time for you physically and creatively. So my artists, you could be very full of ideas this month. Physically, I'm assuming this would be talking about childbirth. So if any of you guys out there are trying to conceive a child, then this might be a good month for that. But I love this. Whatever you're working on, stay with whatever you're working on, be perseverant, and there will be a favorable outcome. And I just saw 345, by the way, which when I see numbers like going up in order, it makes me think of like you're making slow and steady progress. So that's a really awesome energy. All right, so let's get into our reading now. I wanted to start off by seeing what will be the most significant changes and the most significant blessings for you this month, and I want to use the Astro Dice for that. I just feel like I haven't used them in a while and I wanted to spice things up. So let's see what is changing for group number ones. Wow, I'm really not surprised. We have the number 6, which correlates to the 6th house, and this is an energy that talks about our routine and the structures in our life. So that's kind of reaffirming the message that we saw with the bee. And the 6th house is related to Virgo, which kind of the stereotypical energy of Virgo is like they're very organized, very prepared, very on top of things. So that kind of matches, or no, it matches a lot. And also, something that came to my attention recently that I was reminded of is that the 6th house also relates to like small animals. So there could be a message about pets here. And you know, bees are also small animals. And then we have Mercury. So these go together as well because the 6th house is associated with Virgo and Mercury is also associated with Virgo. So maybe there's a lot of Virgos who chose this group, which if so, hello, I love you. And also, Virgos could be significant to you. Like you could have a lot of Virgos around you, or there's like a special someone who's a Virgo who's going to be playing a main role this month. But in this case, Mercury is making me think of like mental clarity and mental stimulation. So I feel like you guys are really going to be on your A game this month when it comes to, first of all, I feel like your mental health is going to be quite peaceful this month. The number 6 makes me think of health. It makes me think of peace, balance, harmony. I'm thinking of the 6 of Swords right now. I feel like this is a month where it's like all of the different parts of you are on the same page and moving in the same direction. So like your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit, they're all working together. And I'm sure we all know how uncomfortable it can be when like your intuition says or wants one thing, but your logical mind says or wants something completely different. That kind of tug of war can be very uncomfortable and it can cause a lot of strain, but I feel like you're really coming to a place where all of the parts of you have this deep knowing of like what's good for you and what you want to align with. So like the same things your soul is calling you towards, that's also what your logical mind wants to move towards. And like this routine that you're developing, like it feels good for your body, it feels fulfilling for your mind and your heart. It's like, yeah, I guess that's the best way I can describe it. Like all of the different parts of you are moving in the same direction. And that's also giving me like chariot vibes. You know, with the 2 creatures moving in the same direction and there's balance there. And so there's a lot of forward movement. You know, with what we saw with the bee, I feel like you guys are able to be so productive because you're in a really good place. And I think you're just feeling very healthy this month. And that's really, really nice to see. So this Mercury is making me think of mental clarity, mental alertness, and as well as communication. I feel like the main conversation this month is surrounded on like self-improvement, self-empowerment, self-love, and I just feel like a lot of conversations are going to be had around this topic. And the more you speak things into existence, it's like the more you talk about it and share ideas, the more motivated you get to take care of yourself and live your best life. So this could be you talking with your friends about these topics, watching a lot of content about these topics, or like reading books, for example. This could also be like you getting excited about an intellectual pursuit, like you're studying something new. But I feel like for those of you who are studying something new, it's like, it's for fun. It's not necessarily because you're going to get tested on it or like you need to study it for work. Although it could be the case with Capricorn. But I feel like you're going to genuinely enjoy the study. enjoy the study. It's not like, oh man, I have to do this for school and work and I hate it and it's boring. It's like you're genuinely enjoying what you're learning. For some of you guys, this might be for an exam that's going to bring you some kind of qualification or some kind of certificate, or like raise your status with this Capricorn energy here. But with this Capricorn energy, I feel mastery. Like Capricorn is related to Saturn. So it's making me think, again, yes, of like productivity, but also discipline and maturity. I guess I could say like you're getting your shit together this month, or you're continuing to get your shit together. And you're feeling like a very mature and responsible adult. But it feels easy because you're doing this with a routine that you genuinely enjoy. Like you're not forcing yourself to do anything. So now we're going to take a couple cards from my little homemade oracle deck to see other major energies. Okay, so we have 2 coming out at the same time. Wow, we have passion. So you're definitely passionate about what you're doing. And I feel like that makes all the difference. Like when you're really passionate about what you're doing, you like become disciplined, you become productive, you become structured, because these things, being disciplined and being organized, it's like the means to the end so that you can thrive in the things that you enjoy. But if what you're doing is not enjoyable, it's like, I can't be bothered to get organized. I can't be bothered to be disciplined because I just like don't care about the results. So this is affirming to me, yeah, life affirming, like the bee said. You're doing something that really brings you passion, and that's really life affirming for you. I feel like you guys are really enjoying your position or your role, whatever it is that you're doing for work. And then we also have accepted and approved. So job offers, promotions, like moving into a new position that you're really, really excited about. I feel like that's the vibe, that's the energy for this month. So let's finally get into this mountain of cards that we have here. We're still going with the general overview energies. So let's take a look at the cards that we have here. Oh my gosh, look who it is. It's the Chariot. So, and I just saw 1111, by the way. So yeah, you're making a lot of progress this month. And there's that reassurance that like, all the parts of you are on the same page and are moving in the same direction. We also have this crown, which is making me think of victory. And then we have apparition. Ooh, interesting. I want to point out 7 and 30. This could be a date, like July 30th. There we go. Whether that's someone's birthday, or I know this would be in quite some time from now because we're in November, but like a significant date in the future to look out for, or like something happening by the end of July. It could also be like the time 7:30, like waking up at 7:30 or like finishing work at 7:30 or something like that. That's kind of interesting. But with Chariot here in apparition, okay, there's a lot of things that this can be referring to. I definitely think that things are manifesting for you guys quickly this month. With the word apparition, it makes me think of something kind of appearing out of thin air. And the Chariot is definitely about fast movement and fast progress. So I think you guys can expect quick manifestation this month for any of your desires. Another thing that's coming to me with this energy is clairvoyance, because the Chariot being related to Cancer energy, it is highly intuitive. So I'm thinking of clairvoyance, like being able to see visions, being able to see angels, because you definitely have angelic protection around you at this time, or being able to see, like physically see your spirit guides. Which is super cool. Clairvoyance is like not one of my strong suits, so I kind of like, envy is not the right word, but people who have that gift, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, what are you seeing? Or having very vivid dreams could be a theme for this month as well. And I'm also thinking, I'm also hearing like stepping on the scene, because I feel like with Chariot, it's like you're stepping out, you're putting yourself out there. And this apparition could actually be you. like you're appearing on the scene. I feel like you guys are stepping into some new position or into some new role, or if you have recently entered into a new role or position, this is the month where you're really going to start to feel confident in it. Like you're really getting the hang of it now and you're starting to see some amazing results. We also have creative magician. Wow. And magician, that's Mercury energy. Your talents are not limited. Your creativity is your superpower. Express individuality. I should mention now, I think I did mention this is Cancer energy, but with the magician and with Mercury, it's not just Virgo, but Gemini energy could be significant as well. This is a month where you're really getting to showcase your talents, I think, and it's going to bring you recognition with this Chariot card. We also have Libra, and woo, new moon eclipse, expect powerful change. Okay, so I'm trying to put these two cards together. There could be some big changes coming in your love life in the month of November as well, or significant changes in your partnerships. I feel like there's a new exciting partnership this month that could be romantic in nature, or that it could also be a business partnership with this Libra energy. And I also feel like some company is excelling. Some company is moving up. Their business is booming. Their business is thriving. This could be a company that you own or a company that you work for. It could also be like your spouse's work or your partner's work is like really, really excelling, which is obviously happy for you as well. But Libra tends to talk about either like romantic connections, business connections, or it also makes me think of just like a savvy business person, a savvy salesperson who's like making moves. Another thing, this could also be sudden drastic changes to like your aesthetic preferences or your tastes. So this month you could be suddenly going through like a change in your wardrobe, or doing a very dramatic, like change to your hair, or you could suddenly start listening to a vastly different type of music than you did before. Or even like your taste in food could be changing. And there is that message of like being physically fertile. And I'm thinking of like pregnancy cravings, how you just start to eat like really random things. But it's like changes in your aesthetics preferences or like your sensory preferences that could be coming in this month as well. Interesting. And that could be something that you're channeling, because you have this spiritual connection, not just this month, but that is growing. So for example, if you go through a change in your wardrobe, you could be kind of channeling a past life self who dressed in a certain way or who listened to a certain type of music. Like you could be suddenly drawn to music from a certain time period because of a past life that you had, which that is very, very cool. But it's interesting that we have this balance. It's like you're integrating aspects of your past selves into your current self and like striking this balance. Okay, so let's move on now and take a look at some tea leaf fortune cards. So these could be specific events of the month, things to look forward to, things to look out for, or just additional messages from your guides. So we have hammock, taking a vacation physically or mentally. I feel like one thing that's going to be working really well for you in this new routine is that you incorporate sufficient rest, and that's what keeps your productivity up, that's what keeps your passion up. In terms of work, this is like, don't worry, you're still gonna have a good work-life balance, even if you're making moves, even if you're moving up, and you could be taking some sort of prolonged vacation or encouraged to take a prolonged vacation in the month of November. But with taking a mental vacation, I think this is also indicating, you guys, like you're learning how to not concern yourself with things that are none of your concern. Like, I'm not gonna let these people or things live in my head rent-free anymore. it's just like you're releasing a lot of bullshit and releasing a lot of like worries that were just unnecessary. You're like, I'm not going to worry about that anymore. I just heard very specifically, it's like there's an ex or like someone from your past that you're like, I'm not going to worry how they're doing anymore. I'm not going to check up on them anymore. Like someone that they're not in your life anymore, but you're either like worried about them or you just kept checking on them and you're like, that's not my concern anymore. We're just releasing things that are none of our concern anymore. And we're cultivating this mental clarity and like this simplicity. And we have needle and thread, a sincere wish will be granted. I feel like this might be the first time that I've seen this card. I've seen the wishbone card, which just says a wish will be granted, but this says a sincere wish will be granted. And this needle and the thread, it's like the circumstances are just aligning so perfectly. Because, you know, I feel like it's hard to get that tiny little thread into the tiny little needle's eye. For some reason, that just made me think of like fertility treatment. There's something going on with some of you who chose this group with like fertility and pregnancy. If that's something you've been working towards. So those of you who that's not in your plans, do not fear. This is like a very specific confirmation message. But any wishes that you guys have that it's like, it takes such specific circumstances to line up. Maybe getting this time off and getting to take this vacation is like so many things have to line up. There needs to be someone who's able to cover your shift for you or to look after this for you. And like the plane tickets need to line up or something. Something that has a lot of different factors. It's like just working out perfectly. Everything is going without a hitch. That's what I'm hearing. And then, we have funnel, period of frustration, lessons to be learned. Yeah, I think you guys were trying to do too much before. Because this frustration comes from like, we're trying to put all of this crap through the funnel and the opening is only so big. It can only do so much at a time. So you guys might have been overworked before, or you were just like, your goals were too big. Like you weren't breaking them down into bite-sized enough chunks and just like trying to do too much too quickly. And you're realizing that actually the more I slow down and the more I rest, the more productive I actually am. And which is like, well, I don't know. Is it counterintuitive? Is it ironic? It's like the less you try to do, or the less pressure you put on yourself, the more productive you are. Yeah. Okay, so this concludes the general overview part of the reading. So we're going to move on now to the specific areas of your life. As you can see, I have one tarot card and one oracle card each for love and relationships, career and studies, and spiritual and personal growth. So let's start off with your love and relationships. We have the Four of Crystals, which is the Four of Swords. And then we have a new beginning. My brain just like glitched for a second. A new beginning. Have courage to open a new door. Okay, so first of all, we have another number 4, which is like, we've been speaking about that a lot during this reading about, you know, stability, security, something being solid in your life, something that's meant to be in your life. So this is indicating to me that we're feeling very secure in our relationships right now. And things are progressing steadily. This might be a month where I feel like you're really just interacting with those people who are super important to you. You know, like we're really focusing on a closely knit, intimate social circle this month. Or maybe that's just the general vibe for you guys moving forward. But I'm just seeing this person sleeping and, you know, taking a mental vacation. You guys could be a little bit more withdrawn or a little bit more unplugged this month, in the sense that you're not catching up with so many of your acquaintances. Like you're just really focused on your loved ones, your family, your really close friends, your partner or your love interest, like just those who you want to hold dear. And we're just like maybe that's also a part of simplifying your life, is like simplifying your social circle or like simplifying your connections. But I definitely see peace. The Four of Swords to me is quite a peaceful card. So things are moving smoothly in your relationships. If you are in a romantic relationship, I feel like things will continue to progress steadily. Swords can indicate quick movement, and I often do interpret them like that, but I'm honestly not really feeling that in this context. I don't feel like we're rushing with any of our relationships. I feel like things are moving slowly and steadily, and I feel like Swords here is more so referring to like clarity, like you getting clarity on your relationships, or maybe this is talking about the ability for you to open up and speak directly and honestly with the people that you love. There could be heart to hearts happening this month, or someone close to you is finally opening up about their true feelings and intentions, and like you're able to have an honest conversation about that. But I feel like just in general, the love life department and the relationship department, it's very stress-free this month. It's very drama-free this month. Like love and relationship worries would not be weighing on your mind at this time. And it's so interesting that we have Libra and expect powerful change. And I was thinking like, oh, there's going to be a new beginning in love, or a new beginning in a significant partnership. And then we have a new beginning here. So for those of you who are looking for new love, this month has very strong indications of that, or looking to move things to the next level with someone in your life, there's very strong indications of that as well. And this powerful change could also be like this newfound ability to really open up and be very honest and direct with each other. The Four of Swords also makes me think of healing. So there could be a lot of healing going on this month in your relationships in general, or in a specific relationship. So this is a really nice energy. There's just really nice energies all around for this group. Let's take a look at your career and studies. So, wow, we have strength and gratitude. Appreciate present blessings. And first thing that I'm noticing is the rainbow on both of these cards. This is giving me 10 of Cups vibes. You guys know on the 10 of Cups, there's like the couple, and they're like, woo, and they have their arms up to the sky, and the children are like playing. If you guys do have a spouse or a partner, I feel like they're getting really good news in their career this month, and you're both celebrating that. And if you do have children, or if you're planning to have children, advancements that you're making in your career at this time, I feel are going to secure a good future for them. There's also something about like taking time off with regards to children. So there could be like a parental leave that is happening this month, or like maybe you get a day off so that you can like go on a field trip with your child or something like that, or going on a vacation, like a family vacation. I think there's something about you being able to take time off to prioritize your family, or to spend time with your family, or like your family is going through amazing career advancements. You could even have children who are at the age of working, so maybe there's a celebration of like your child is getting a promotion, or your child is getting their first part-time job, or something like that. But I feel like this auspicious energy surrounding career, it's not just for you, it's also like for your family and loved ones, which is really, really nice. And the strength card in this deck, sometimes it's a number 8, sometimes it's a number 11. It is the number 8 in this deck, which is the number of abundance. And oh my gosh, I didn't even notice this, but like both rainbows also have waterfalls on either side of them. So the abundance is definitely flowing this month. Leo energy seems to be quite strong as well, because we have the lion here, and we also have the sun, which is a symbol of Leo. So a Leo person could be significant in terms of career, or Leo season could be significant. Even like the date that we had here, July 30th, that happens within Leo season too. But what did I want to say about, I feel like this is definitely a month where you're becoming quite disciplined and quite perseverant in working towards your goals, but you're learning how to harness your strength and your perseverance and your discipline for good things. And it kind of goes back to what we were speaking about before with like, these qualities are really coming out of you because you're doing something that you enjoy. You're doing something that you're passionate about. And I feel like what we're doing here is releasing guilt surrounding those things, because the Strength card does talk about having compassion for ourselves. It can talk about like forgiving ourselves. And this is a group that maybe in the past struggled with like feeling insecure or feeling guilty or being hard on yourself. Like, why can't I be more disciplined? Why can't I be more structured? Why can't I be more organized? And I think what we're realizing this month is like strength. Yeah, it's like strength is a means to an end. We're not strong just for the sake of getting strong. We're not just strong for the sake of, what am I trying to say? We're not just strong for the sake of getting stronger, or we don't exhibit strength just for the sake of that. Strength is a tool to get us through hard times. And when there are no hard times, we don't have to be strong. It's like a skill that we develop for a rainy day, but hopefully you don't have to be this super strong and perseverant and like working really hard all the time. It's like, it's just a tool. That's how it's coming through. Strength is just a tool. And it's not a tool that you should have to use for things that you don't care about, because that's kind of a waste of your strength and your discipline and your perseverance. And it's sad to think that you should judge yourself on like your work ethic or your ability to push through tough times when like the very venture that you're using this tool on is not really something that brings you passion. And you shouldn't judge your worth or judge your capabilities on something like that. I guess what I'm trying to say is that you're realizing that it's okay that you weren't able to motivate yourself on things that didn't fulfill you before. That's okay. That's to be expected. And some people might be able to like suit up and push through and be really strong and work on things that they're not passionate about, but their ability to do that doesn't make them like better than you or more admirable than you. I think you're just someone who needs, like the bee said, you need to do something life affirming. You need to do something that you're very passionate about, and you're finding that passion this month, and you're really starting to feel confident in it. And it's like you're also forgiving your past self and also apologizing to your past self. I feel like your past self is saying, group one, I'm sorry that I haven't been such a like hardworking and disciplined person. And your present self is saying, it's okay, you weren't passionate about it, so it makes sense. And then you're saying to your past self, I'm sorry that I judged you so harshly. And then your past self is saying, it's okay, it's what you learned from society. And then you're like hugging and making up. And that's also very sweet energy. I feel like I'm saying all of the energies in this reading are sweet, but it's because they are, and it's because you guys are very, very sweet. So I'm going to keep saying it. You guys could also be in a workplace or in a school environment that allows you to express yourself more. So you get to use your creativity more in your job, or maybe you get to like dress however you want in this workplace or in this school place. I'm just looking at the gold hair, and I thought of like, oh, we're allowed to dye our hair, or like we don't have to wear a uniform, or we get to dress casually, or like I can show my piercings and my tattoos at my workplace. It feels more kind of laid back. And even like a rainbow that can represent diversity, you know, like a school or work environment that has all different like backgrounds, different genders and things like that. So yes, okay, now let's look at the cards for your spiritual and personal growth. Oh my goodness, we have the Queen of Cups. So there's definitely some emotional and spiritual mastery that is going on here. And we also have freedom. Spread your wings. I immediately thought of astral travel here for some reason, like being able to do dream travel and also being able to travel to your past lives and maybe even to see a glimpse of your future lives. This is definitely an indication of your spiritual abilities heightening. And there's really, some of you guys are like becoming parents, or your parenthood is a really big theme this month, because the Queen of Cups is also a motherly figure. And I'm pretty sure these are storks. And like, you know, storks bring you the baby. So I don't know, like you could be a new parent, or you're just like reflecting a lot on your parenthood in November, or maybe you're reflecting on how you were parented in the month of November, and maybe you're realizing how the way you were parented maybe contributed to this feeling of like, I need to be strong all the time, I need to be super disciplined and super organized, or even contributed to this feeling of like, I have to give my energy to everyone and everything, or I have to structure my life in this way regardless of like how I feel. You know, being able to get your physical body, your mind, your heart, and your soul all on the same page, that could involve a sort of reparenting of yourself, unlearning things from your childhood, because it could very well be the way you were parented that sort of created this disconnect of like, my heart wants this because that's what my heart truly wants, but my mind wants that because that's what's going to get me acceptance. That's what's going to make me safe in this household or in this family. And so that disconnect comes there. So yeah, I think there's just a lot of themes of like childhood and parenthood that you guys are going through this month. And if you are a parent, your experience of being a parent might allow you to relate more to your own parents, or like the struggles that you go through as a parent. It helps you more to appreciate what your parents went through, or to forgive them, or something like that. Because the Queen of Cups, she is a compassionate energy. She is a healing energy. It could be, but doesn't have to be, especially with your maternal line, like with your mother, with your grandmother. So there's kind of two very different messages here. One is like you're healing yourself from childhood, and then the other is astral travel. And well, actually maybe they are related, like astral travel and connecting to your past lives. You might notice that a certain dynamic that you have with a parent, or a certain dynamic that you have with a child, does stem from a past life connection. Like you're playing out the same dynamic and still kind of trying to resolve things. Oh wow. So like spiritual insights that you receive this month could be affecting or bringing you clarity about certain family relationships. And then another thing as well with this, you know, this could also be you guys feeling free to express your spiritual side, because, you know, this is freeing yourself. This is you getting in touch with your intuition and with your psychic abilities. So maybe this is a month where you really feel free to talk about that without feeling weird, or without feeling like you have to hide it, even in your workplace or in your school place, because we had that message about you being able to like fully express yourself and not having to hold back. So even like a boss, a coworker, a classmate, a teacher, a client, they could be really interested in your spiritual journey, which is probably not that surprising if your career is related to spirituality. But if not, like that could be kind of cool, right? Like you might, I don't know, you might be watching a tarot video at work and your boss walks by and is like, what's that? And where the old you would have like closed the window and be like, nothing, you're like, oh, I'm watching a tarot reading. And your boss is like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, I had a tarot reading once and da da da. And then like, it's like you feel more free to be open about that side of yourself, I guess is what I want to say. So should we finish off with, I've been really feeling the fallback deck right now, and I just got such a craving for chocolate, but it's specifically like a cookie type of chocolate, like an Oreo or something like that. Ooh, or like cookies and cream, ice cream, cookie dough ice cream. Delicious. I miss ice cream. It's really hard to find. I don't eat like cow ice cream, and I mean Japan does have dairy-free ice cream, but it's not as like, you can't just like go to the supermarket and buy it. But oh my gosh, Ben and Jerry's dairy-free ice cream is so good. Okay, anyway, let's take some cards from our fallback deck. Ooh, look at this background. This is like love, divine connections. Believe in yourself, believe in your dreams. What you believe is what you will create. You can do anything. Whoa, oh my gosh. Okay, let's take all of these. We have protection. Thank God for unanswered prayers. Rejection and setbacks are blessings in disguise. The universe knows best. I honor my intuition. I trust myself. And pause. Take a moment, close your eyes, relax your body, just breathe slowly, deeply. Group number 1, those are all the messages I have for you, so I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that, and you can also follow me on Instagram, where I post weekly pick-a-card readings as well as new moon and full moon readings. And I have a music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was an original song, so if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, the music channel will be linked down below for you as well. Group number 1s, I'm sending you guys so much love, and much love to your spiritual team as well, and also to your family and your loved ones, and I hope you guys have an amazing month. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye! Hi number 2s, so if you guys chose the Pyrite, this is going to be your reading all about your month of November 2022. So I wanted to mention something. Before I filmed the first group, I got this clear image of a certain animal in my mind's eye. So I thought that it would be relevant for them, and I went into my spirit animal book and I read the passage that corresponded with that animal. And then after I finished filming that, and before filming your group, I was thinking maybe it would be nice to like read a spirit animal passage for every group. And then I just overwhelmingly felt like I should read the hippopotamus passage to this group. So that is what we're gonna do. I'm pretty sure there is a hippopotamus in this book. So let's see what he has to say. Here he is. Okay, and he is on page 140, just in case one or any of these numbers are significant to you guys. Okay, hippopotamus. Trust your intuition and act on it, yet stay grounded at the same time. Your skin is especially sensitive right now, so moisturize with lotion as needed and use sunscreen when exposed to the sun for any length of time. It's critical that you don't deviate from your path at this time, so stay true to yourself and don't let anything distract you. Now is the time to immerse yourself in whatever artistic or creative endeavor you want to accomplish and stay with it to completion. Be protective toward any of your artistic creations and don't let anyone demean or criticize your work. Interesting. So this is really a time to listen to your intuition, not just to listen to it, but to act on it. And the message about your skin being especially sensitive, of course, in the context of this book, this is talking about like your physical skin. That can definitely be a message for you guys, but this is also making me think of like thin skin. You know, when you're particularly sensitive, we say like you have thin skin. And especially considering that there's a later message, like don't let anyone demean or criticize your work. Maybe you guys are feeling particularly sensitive to criticism at this time, or if you haven't been completing creative projects or putting your work out there, maybe it has to do with a fear of criticism, a fear of judgment, or just like hate and negative comments. So this might be a month that is focused on like building up a thick skin and realizing that people's negative opinions are irrelevant. There's a difference between constructive criticism and someone literally demeaning you or just spewing negativity about you. And you have to realize when people are doing the latter, it's not personal. It is very much an issue with them and it has nothing to do with you. So I feel like we're learning to become resilient, and we're saying like, I'm not gonna let that fear of judgment or criticism stop me from following my heart or stop me from living my dream, because that is more important than letting some dumbass win or letting some bully win. So I mean, yes, we're moisturizing, we're wearing sunscreen, we're taking care of our physical skin, but we're also growing a thicker skin, I think, in the metaphorical sense. This is a month to finish projects. So maybe you're picking up some things that were on the back burner, or even this could even be like finishing a big essay, finishing a big project for work or school, even though this is talking about creative and artistic projects. Or maybe you do go to art school or you are an artist for a living. Finishing projects, and also I think like getting them out, releasing them, publishing them. Or this is a good month to start, like if you've been thinking of starting a channel or starting a blog or something of that nature, I feel like this is your sign to go for it. And now I'm thinking of hungry hippos, which that could be a sign for you guys to be ambitious. You know, when we say like someone's hungry, it's like they're never satisfied, they keep progressing, they keep reaching for the higher heights, which now I'm thinking of midheaven in Sagittarius and midheaven in Capricorn vibes. But let me know if you have those placements. But yeah, like stay hungry, stay ambitious. Maybe someone needs to eat a little bit more, especially if you're like working out. But yeah, I think that's everything for the hippopotamus. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for showing up in my mind's eye. You're very cute. And let's go on to the rest of the reading now. I also think it's cute how like the hippo and the horse look like they're looking at each other. I'm not going to read the horse page, but if you do feel called to look at it, feel free to pause the video, or maybe you're just a really fast reader and you've already read it. But let's get into the reading now. So I want to start off with the Astro Dice, which I haven't used in a while, but with these we're going to see the most significant changes and the most significant blessings coming your way in the month of November. Okay, so look at that, it's Sagittarius. And I was getting that vibe before. So we have the 6th house. So that's the same as group 1. They also got the number 6. We have the sign of Sagittarius, and we have Saturn. Yes. So actually, I wonder if this is a collective thing, if like 2 out of 3 groups are dealing with this energy. But the 6th house, it makes me think of like structure, organization, discipline. We were speaking, or the hippo was saying, that this is a month to like complete projects and hold your creative and artistic projects close to you. So I feel like we're trying to implement some kind of structure or some kind of routine, like to get our projects done, especially for those of you who tend to be procrastinators or like start a lot of projects and never finish them. I feel like what we're doing this month is like finding a practical structure that we can follow. So like I'm going to work on this every Wednesday, or like I'm going to do this for 30 minutes a day. And like, even on those times where we don't necessarily feel super inspired or super motivated, we're still gonna show up for those 30 minutes. And like, if we get some ideas out of it, if we make some progress, awesome. And if we don't, that's okay. We're not gonna beat ourselves up. But what's important is that we show up for it every day. And you know, this Saturn energy, this also talks about like structure and discipline. That's that, you know, Capricorn-y kind of energy. And so I think you guys are becoming a lot more consistent with projects that you're working on, whether that's for work or school, or whether it's just for like your hobby or for your own creative pursuits. I think you're really going to be a lot more consistent and have more drive. This is something I spoke about, oh my God, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but in one of these readings, I was speaking about like the difference between motivation and drive. Motivation is not necessarily something that you can control, but you can be driven without being motivated. And you can be driven without necessarily feeling inspiration. And sometimes the motivation comes afterwards. This happens to me a lot, like when I'm making music. Sometimes at first I don't feel like doing it because it can be very overwhelming. The process of trying out a bunch of different sounds and finding the perfect one, you know, sifting through all of that stuff that doesn't work before you find the thing that does work. When I'm not doing it, that process sounds dreadful to me. But then once I get myself to do it, it becomes fun and I like forget the passing time. But I don't have the motivation to start, but I have the drive to do it. So when I start doing it, the motivation kind of follows, or the inspiration kind of follows. And I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, it's kind of like when a kid doesn't want to take a bath, but then once you get them in the bath, they don't want to get out. So you're learning to kind of discipline yourself and say like, okay, we're gonna at least show up today. We're gonna at least start working on it. And if we're really not feeling it, that's okay, but at least we tried and at least we showed up. So it's like giving yourself that little discipline without being so hard on yourself, like you better produce results. No, we're just making a habit of this. We're just putting this into our routine. We don't necessarily have to get somewhere every time, but it's becoming a part of our daily life. Like we're scheduling in our motivation, we're scheduling in our creativity. And because of this, oh my God, my brain couldn't decide if it wanted to say habit, oh my God, habit or hobby. Because of this, I feel like you're gonna see a lot of expansion this month. You're gonna make a lot more progress than usual, and really start like moving up and really start expanding. And I don't know if you guys were drawn to group 1 as well, but it's giving pretty similar vibes so far. I even feel like they got Capricorn, but that is Saturn energy, and they also got the 6th house. So maybe you guys came from group 1, in which case hello, or you might feel drawn to watch group number 1 as well, or maybe this is just something the collective is going through. But I really like this energy. It's like we're taking a practical approach to our passions. So all right, the next thing I want to do is shuffle this little homemade deck that I have, and we're going to take a few cards from here to see other significant energies. 2 at the same time. We have confidence, so we're definitely building that thick skin, because some quote says that confidence is not knowing that everyone is going to like you. Confidence is being okay even if they don't. Confidence and success. And confidence is what is going to lead you to your success, because like the hippopotamus mentioned before, I feel like for many of you, what has been holding you back is like a fear of judgment, a fear of criticism, a fear of your work not being received well, like a fear of rejection. And up until now, you may have believed like, oh, I'm just a procrastinator. Oh, I'm just not motivated. But it might have actually been a more deeply seated fear that was holding you back. But in the month of November, you're definitely gaining your confidence, which is going to lead to your success. I think you can't see it from this angle, but the way I'm looking at the dice, because I'm looking like from here, I can see what's on this side. It's the moon in Libra in the first house. So that could be someone who has a predisposition to like pleasing other people or taking other people's opinions very seriously, or that can really affect their confidence or really affect their well-being. But you know what the good thing is? I feel like even if you have, wow, I'm really struggling with the wording for this group. I personally think that if someone has a natural disadvantage and they choose to work on that, they could become stronger than most. It's the same way how, like, as a language learner, if you're a language learner or a polyglot, you might have heard of this before, but sometimes non-native speakers know the grammar better than native speakers because it didn't come naturally to them, so they had to work extra hard at it. Whereas a native speaker, they probably would never really study their own language's grammar in depth. They just kind of feel their way through it. So sometimes the non-native speaker speaks more correctly than the native speaker. So I use that analogy to say that if this group maybe struggles with being a little bit more sensitive to the judgments of others or a little bit more afraid of criticism than others, if that propels you to then work extra hard on your resilience and work extra hard on your confidence, you could actually come out more resilient, more confident, more strong than the average person or than those who didn't have that disadvantage before. So it's almost like a blessing in disguise that I'm feeling for you guys. So with that, let's finally get into some of the non-homemade cards. So we're gonna start off with, or I should say continue with the general overview of the month and look at some of the main energies. Ooh, we have the Magician. So you are working on something, you're creating something, you're manifesting something. And we have Twin Rose. The number 13 is making me think of the Death card. So we're transforming. We're turning from a caterpillar into a butterfly, and I think we're releasing baggage. And it's so interesting because roses make me think of a sensitive, delicate person. In the not Work Your Light Oracle, that's a different one. Also an amazing oracle deck, but I always get them mixed up. The Secret Language of Light Oracle, that's it. In the Secret Language of Light Oracle, there's a card with a rose on it and it's called Sensitivity. So my brain has just made that connection. And you know, rose petals, they're very delicate, they're very beautiful. I think that this is a month, or this is a chapter of your life to start seeing your sensitivity as a beautiful thing. And it's not something that we are to stifle or to deem as bad, but we're going to learn how to work with it. We're going to learn how to navigate through the world as a sensitive person, and we're going to learn how to have like healthy, I guess, like coping mechanisms for when our sensitivities might be triggered, and we're going to be extra gentle with ourselves. And with this Twin Rose, like twin, it's making me think of mirroring, or it's making me think of coming across someone or people in the world who are very similar to you. So this might be a month where you see your sensitivity and you see your delicateness and you see your emotional nature reflected in someone whom you look up to or someone whom you find very beautiful. And it's like you see your beauty reflected back to you, because I feel like sometimes we're just hard on ourselves because it's us, whereas when that energy exists in someone else, we're not hard on it. So I don't know, let's say you find out that your favorite musician is also like really sensitive, also struggled with having thin skin when they were working their way to success, or you know, someone who has reached a level that you aspire to dealt with the same issues as you. It's like you see that trait of you in someone that you love so much or in someone that you admire so much, and you're like, oh wow, it is really beautiful. Like I'm just being very hard on myself because when I see it in this other person, I see the beauty of it, and that beauty exists in me too. It's like someone is holding up a really positive mirror to you. Oh, and I really get the feeling that it's someone you care about deeply. It it could be a new person as well. Like you meet a new person who's, you know, very sensitive, very emotional, very romantic, and they really affirm those parts of you and they reflect back to you the beauty of it. And help you to fall in love with yourself. That's so sweet. And I really like the candle flame here as well. I think that's a candle flame. Yeah, it's one candle lighting another one. I love that analogy of candles, that like a candle can light so many other candles without losing its own light. So I feel like you're being activated by someone's flame. You're being activated by someone who is a mirror to you and is showing you how beautiful you are. That's so sweet. That's such a beautiful connection. This could be old, this could be new, it could be someone you know personally, it could be someone you don't know personally. It doesn't matter, because candles can light each other up across any distances, personally or virtually. But spirit is definitely working to like reflect to you how beautiful you are. Oh, wow. And the number 1 too, like the number 1 is all about confidence, or like, you know, confidence, believing in yourself, going after what you want. The number 3 is about expansion, manifestation, abundance. Like you're growing and you're learning to love yourself. And with the Magician here, this is a card that lets you know you have everything it takes and anything is possible for you. And don't you ever forget that. Wow, manifestation and transformation with the numbers 1 and 13. In terms of zodiac signs, we do have, did I mention? Yeah, Sag, Virgo with the 6th house, Capricorn and Aquarius with Saturn, Virgo again, and Gemini with the Magician because it's related to Mercury, and then Scorpio because this is making me think of the Death card. Also, January 13th could be a relevant date. Whether that's someone's birthday or a significant date coming up. It could also be like the 1st of November and the 13th of November are going to be important dates of the month. We also have creative trance. Creativity seeks expression. Meditate. Allow your works to be creative meditations. See the divinity in your creative acts. With meditation coming up twice, like that word coming up twice, I feel like at least one of your spirit guides is really encouraging you to develop the habit of meditation and to add that into your routine. I think it could be very, very beneficial for you. To keep, why am I hearing like to lower your blood pressure? I don't know. To keep you calm throughout the day, to keep you focused, to keep you alert, to help you sleep better. It's not even necessarily for like an esoteric practice, but I think it will just give you more mental clarity and keep you more relaxed throughout the day. You may have some spiritual or psychic experiences through a meditation, but that's not necessarily the goal. I think it's to help you stay calm and peaceful. Also, this idea of being in a trance while you create, I feel like is really significant. And I kind of want to go back to my own example of, at first I might dread getting to work, but then once I get into the creation process, I really lose track of time. Because you do get into this trance, you get into this flow. And I've spoken about this before, but I literally forget to go to the bathroom, which is crazy because I pee every 10 minutes. That's crazy for me to sit there for hours and then be like, oh my gosh, I have to eat, I have to go to the bathroom. But you just get so into it. So I feel like you're finding your flow in November, or you're getting back into the flow after maybe being out of it for some time. You're getting that spark back. You may very well also channel when you're doing your work, when you're creating. You might channel from your spirit guides or channel from higher beings to the point where you kind of step back and you're like, what did I just make? That happens to me sometimes. I'm doing different things in a song and I'm like, what am I doing? And I can't even tell if it's going to end up sounding good, but they're like, just trust us, just keep going. And I keep going and I play it back and I'm like, oh, okay, I see that. I see what you're doing. Anyway, so now let's look at our astrological cards. So we have Daddy Saturn coming out again. And Aquarius. So, Saturn and Aquarius do go together. And I think, isn't Saturn in Aquarius right now? I don't know. It is, or it was recently, but anyway. Show the world the real you. Yeah. With the full moon in Aquarius. And I love that. I just love the image on this card of like this person pouring out the urn or the jug or whatever it is, because I think of this water as like all of their emotion, that they're just letting it all out. This month you could be finding like an outlet for your emotions, like pouring it into your creative work, pouring it into your manifestation rituals. But we're not gonna hide. You guys are like this beautiful rose, and we're not gonna hide that anymore. I think it's time for you guys to be seen. Like, be seen by others, yes, but it's also time for you to be seen by yourself, like to fully see and acknowledge yourself and develop like an intimacy with yourself and really become your own best friend. There's a lot of similarities to group number 1, because Saturn represents like a parent, an authority figure. More specifically, it can be a father figure. But when I look at these together, like Saturn is looking over at you, who is showing the real you. It's giving me this feeling of like parenting your inner child and almost like affirming to them that the real them is valid and that the real them is beautiful. Aquarius has to do with those parts of us that make us feel eccentric, that make us feel different than others, that could even make us feel alienated or distanced from others at times. You know, our weirdness, our uniqueness. And, this is something that you could even do in a meditation, is to meet your child self. And it's like, in the cases where your child self is doing something weird, you affirm to them, that's really cool, that's really awesome, that's really special. This is a really weird example that just came to my mind, but like, let's say there's a girl who grew up in a really like prim and proper and like very traditional family, but this girl loves like collecting bugs but her mom is getting pissed at her because she keeps bringing these weird gross bugs into the house and being like, look at what I caught, mommy. And maybe, you know, she has an affinity for insects. She's gonna be a whatever those is entomologist. Is that bugs? Anyway, but maybe the mom was like, oh, that's disgusting, don't bring that in here, and like, you're a girl, you shouldn't be playing with bugs, like you should be playing with your easy bake oven, or like, I don't know, some shit like that. In this meditation, that person would go back to their self as a little girl, and when the little girl brings them the bug, they would say, wow, that's so cool, but you know, maybe we should release it inside, or maybe we can make a terrarium for the bug so that you can observe it, you know, like, yeah, we're not gonna let you willy-nilly bring bugs all over the house, but we're gonna create a safe environment for you to explore your interests and not tell you like, that's weird, you're not supposed to be doing that. So I think it's like one of your guides is really calling you to go back to your child self and just say like, that's really cool, like let's explore that further. And I actually feel like I'm starting to get teary when I say this, because maybe there's a part of you that feels like, I wonder what I could have done, and I wonder what I could have been if I was encouraged. And your guides are saying like, you can go back and encourage your child self, and that will make an impact on you now. And maybe that will even help you have thicker skin, because when you're a little child, it's like your parents are literally God to you. They're like your whole world. They control everything. And imagine this person that you look up to so much just being like, that's weird, don't do that. Like, I'm sure that leaves a lasting mark. So I think we're healing this wound. And also like going back to honoring your sensitivity. We're maybe healing memories of like, why are you crying? Stop crying. That's the fucking worst. Like being scolded for displays of emotion, or like for crying or for being sensitive. I think we're just telling our child, like our inner child, it's okay. But if you do have children, this might be a great exercise to improve your relationship with them and like help you keep nurturing their uniqueness as well. Okay, so, also we have repeating S's and repeating T's. So those could be significant first, middle, last name initials, or the name of a city, country, or company. I say this all the time, but somehow I still forgot it. T could also be Taurus. S could be Scorpio, Sagittarius, which is interesting because those are the seasons of November, Scorpio and Sagittarius season. And also September. Yeah, I think that's all of it. Anyway, so now let's take a look at our tea leaf fortune cards. These could be other specific events of the month, things to look forward to, things to look out for, or just additional messages from your guides. So we have Bat, take care, enemies are working against you. Key, successful outcome to your problems. And Vulture, depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you. Whoa. So if you guys have been worried about someone sending you negative energy, or someone doing something shady behind your back, this is validating that. Some of you guys, well, I think this is implying that you knew this, but you might have been brushing it off as, oh, I'm just overthinking, I'm just being paranoid, I'm just being anxious. But this is saying like your suspicion is right. If you have a bad vibe about someone, that suspicion is right, and it's important to protect yourself. Take practical steps in the 3D to protect yourself if you can, or ask your spirit guides to protect you. If you have their protection, you will not be hurt. But this is a validating message, like you were right. You were not, I want to say like you're not crazy for suspecting. And then we have Key with successful outcome to your problem. So I do think that everything is going to be okay. Any problems that you're experiencing here, you will come out. I don't like to say you will come out on top, because then it's like a you versus them. But when someone's planning against you, you gotta take the steps to protect yourself. I almost feel like this could be metaphorical of you like locking your door energetically, so that they can't get in and affect you anymore. Yeah, this is a month to take extra care to protect yourself energetically. Definitely. That's very straightforward. I don't know if there's much else to interpret there. So let's move on now to the specific areas of your life. As you can see, I have a tarot card and an oracle card each for love and relationships, career and studies, and spiritual and personal growth. So we're going to start off with love and relationships, but I'm going to drink water first. Okay. So for your tarot card, we have the Hermit. And for your oracle card, we have your wish is coming true, celebrate your success. So group number 2's, any wishes, any dreams that you have in the love department or in the relationship department, they're coming true in the month of November. You heard it here first, or maybe you heard it somewhere else first, and I'm just repeating the message to you so that you know for sure. But yeah, it's being confirmed here. So claim this message. Wishes in your love life or wishes in your relationships are coming true. I think you're finding a real gem. You're finding a real treasure of a partner, or you are with a real treasure of a partner. With the Hermit here, I definitely feel like the energies that we've been seeing here, I do feel like this is likely just the continuation of a journey that you guys have been on for quite some time. But I see with this Hermit card that you have become really invested in the journey of spiritual and personal growth. And I think that you guys have been doing a lot of soul searching. And in this process, how it pertains to your connections, I think you've come to a place where you really only want the best for yourself. You really only want the best divine connections for yourself. You want to be surrounded by people who are mature, who are self-aware, who are working on their spiritual growth, and who will also contribute to your spiritual growth, and vice versa. Like, really the highest divine love, I think, is what you guys are looking for. And I think that you have reached a point where you're not going to settle for anything else, because, when we think of the hermit is like someone who's perfectly fine to be all by themselves, right? And I think this is just that feeling of like, I understand now that it's better to be alone than to be with a vulture or to be with a bat. No offense to these animals, but they're coming out as that kind of, shady energy, or just not the healthiest type of connection. And you're like, I don't have time to spend time around vultures and bats and like wait for them to change and do their healing work for them. I'm not doing that anymore. And you've reached this level of like maturity in your journey where it's like, we don't have the time or energy for that. And we want people who have already done the work on their own, who have already matured on their own, someone who can meet you at your level. I feel like this is what you guys want, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's awesome. Like, I'm really happy for you guys that you've reached this level of like knowing what you want and really like stepping into your power. So this is obviously being granted to you with that Oracle card right next to it. The Hermit could be indicating that in the month of November, you are feeling a little bit more withdrawn. It could have to do with you being more in a meditative, reflective state, very into your creativity, very into the work you're doing. Like, I'm sorry, I can't hang out. I'm in a trance. Sorry, I'm meditating right now. Like, you're very into your own personal journey this month. And just like, I think you're really enjoying your own company. Being with yourself, being comfortable, being cozy. And yet at the same time, I feel like you have connections in your life, or you're manifesting connections where it's so comfortable to be around them that it feels as if you're alone. Like, I mean, it's the same level of ease and effortlessness and coziness that you would feel by yourself. And actually, it's quite likely that you are coming into union with someone, or you're with someone who is quite evolved spiritually, or is quite evolved in their journey of personal growth, and who knows themselves very, very well. Virgo energy could be significant here because we do have the Hermit. And then with the number 9, I mean, that could be September, like a September born Virgo. It could be a life path 9. It could be a 9-year age gap or something like that. And I'm also noticing beard. Like, Saturn has a long beard. The Hermit has a long beard. These people have long hair. So like long hair or a long beard could be significant too. But now let's move on to your cards for career and studies. Ooh, okay. So we have the 8 of Crystals, which is the 8 of Swords, and heart, emotions, and intuition. Yeah, so I don't want to be too much of a broken record, but I feel like this is basically reiterating what we've already seen previously in this reading, that you guys have held yourself back, I think, from like exploring opportunities related to your career, your studies, your projects, because of limiting beliefs, or because of like the fear of being rejected or the fear of being judged. But if anything, I think what the 8 of Crystals does add to this message is that this is kind of a prison of your own making. And it's like the things that you're so afraid of, they can't really hurt you, or like what hurts you is the fear itself. Kind of a weird example, but I used to be really, really deathly terrified of cicadas, and they can't actually hurt me. And I wasn't, it's like what I'm afraid of is not the actual insect. What I'm afraid of is experiencing that uncomfortable reaction that I'm gonna have to it. I'm afraid of feeling the fear, because I would like start crying, I would start like, you know, like hyperventilating, I would start shaking. That's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of what I thought it could do to me, but it can't actually do anything to me if I don't react to it. And I feel like people's like rude comments or people's like negative judgment is the same thing. It's not actually the judgment that is uncomfortable, it's like our reaction to it. And so by not learning how to face that reaction, you're holding yourself back. And let me tell you, what got me over my fear was exposure therapy. So I had to look at a lot of photographs at first, and I hated it. But it's like you have the reaction, and then after some time you're like, oh, nothing's happening, I'm not dead. Like, it can't do anything to me. So I got through that uncomfortable emotional reaction, and then I was like, oh wait, nothing's happening. And then my brain remembers, like, oh, I don't need to be scared. So like, I almost feel like, for example, if you're afraid of negative comments, like, I don't know, like starting a YouTube channel, this is just an example, and getting those negative comments is actually the way to get over that fear. Because you'll see the negative comments, and first it's gonna hurt, it's gonna bother you. And then the next time you see it, it bothers you a little bit less. And then by, you know, you've seen, and you're like, oh yeah, another one of those, like, I get those all the time. Like, what's this person on about now? You really reach that level. But if you let that fear stop you from ever starting the channel, then that fear is gonna persist. And that fear won. So I think this is about realizing that you are kind of in a prison. I don't want to say of your own making, but you are perpetuating it. Like, someone else may have contributed to putting you in this prison at one time, like maybe in your childhood, like making you scared of negative judgment. But it's like you've grown into an adult now, and you do have the power to free yourself and walk out of this prison, but you're not. So that's kind of what I'm seeing from this Eight of Crystals. Like, we're getting over that fear. We're getting over the things that are holding us back. And then, yeah, I really think with heart, emotions, and intuition, this does have to do like with a sensitivity or like a delicateness to the heart. And once we free ourselves, what's on the other side is living from our heart, following our heart, living a life of passion. I also think that, like, right now there's certain emotions that you're avoiding. And I was just talking about this yesterday with a reader, but like we just spoke about, what you're avoiding is the emotional reaction. You don't want to feel those emotions because it's uncomfortable. That's what you're afraid of. But when you stop being afraid of those emotions and you just allow yourself to feel, you open up such a broader spectrum and such a broader range of emotion to work with. And once you embrace the entire range of your emotional body, first of all, that's going to improve your creativity like 100-fold. And second of all, not saying that it's not already amazing, but it's going to be even more amazing. And it's going to improve your psychic abilities like 1,000,000-fold as well. Because it's when, like, that's what the reader was saying yesterday. Intuition is just feeling. So when you unlock the whole range of your feelings, that really broadens the range of your intuition as well. Okay, so finally, we're going to look at the cards for your spiritual and personal growth. Wow, so we have the Two of Wands, and we have nature. Notice the harmony around you. And I am hearing a question being asked to you. Where do you want to go next? I think it's time for you guys to plan a trip. I think that's what this is about. With the Two of Wands, we have this person holding up the globe in their hand, and I feel like she's planning her next destination. The world is her oyster. I think you're being called to go either on a solo trip or with someone else who is very close to you, who, like we spoke about before, it feels so comfortable as if you're alone because you just get along so well. But this is like the next step that your guides are encouraging you to go through some kind of personal growth. And if you need some suggestions, I feel like you're being encouraged to go somewhere that is known for really beautiful nature. And of course, there's literally places like that all over the world. So if you can't or don't want to do this right now, this is not saying like hop on a plane and fly to another continent, although you very well can. But this can literally be like exploring the national park that is like on the outskirts of your city. It really doesn't have to be so super far away, but it's like, where do you want to visit? Where are you being called to go? And you're being called, like this card says, to notice the harmony around you. There's some beautiful beautiful scenery, some beautiful landscapes that your soul is calling you to. And just being in awe of the beauty of that place and the harmony of that place, it's going to do something to awaken your soul. And it's a little bit vague, like I can't explain what it is. Maybe you're going through energetic upgrades by being in this geographical location. Maybe it's just the beauty of nature that is reminding you of like what a miracle it is to be alive or to be on this earth. But it's like an awakening and a refreshing of your soul. Like your soul is being cleansed. Your soul is taking a shower. Your soul is going through a renaissance, remembering the beauty that exists within it. So that's something to think about. Well, maybe you already have a destination in mind and this is like your confirmation to plan that trip or to even go in the month of November. But take a little trip somewhere where the nature is nice, whether it's really far away or like literally in your city. You're being called to have a change of scenery, and that's the next thing that's gonna like contribute to some spiritual and personal growth within you. Wow. So group number 2s, these are all the messages I have for you. So I'm gonna end your reading here. Oh no, I lied. I want to take I want to take some cards from this deck because I did it for group 1 and I want to be fair. There we go. Gratitude. Remember when you wanted what you have now. Give thanks. Your grateful heart is a magnet for love and abundance. Create your joy. Smile and laugh. You deserve to be happy for no reason. Take time to do what feels good. All is temporary. It's okay not to feel your best. Like the moon, we go through phases. Give yourself time to get your groove back. This too will soon pass. And then, I am a powerful manifester. I trust, I believe, I receive. I think this is really you guys like getting back to doing what you love and understanding like we all go through these phases where sometimes we have the spark and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're in the flow and sometimes we don't. And that's okay. But boy, does it feel good when we get back in the flow. And you're really, really in the flow in the month of November. Yeah. Now it's actually the end of the reading. Really. So, what is this on the floor? This card fell out on the floor. Guidance. So, yeah, there was like one spirit guide in particular that was like really showing up throughout this reading. He might look like this guy or this guy. But anyway, is that it now? Is that all the messages now? Okay, I'm just gonna do my outro, and if there's anything else to add, just jump in at any time. But Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. And you can also follow me on Instagram, where I post weekly pick a card readings as well as new moon and full moon readings. And I have a music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was an original song. So if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, the music channel will be linked down below for you as well. Group number 2s, I'm sending so much love to you and to your spiritual teams. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support. And I just saw 4646. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the Malachite, this is going to be your reading all about your month of November 2022. So I want to start off this reading by reading a passage out of the Spirit Animal book. This all started before I was filming group number 1, and I got like a clear visual image of an animal that I thought might be relevant to them. I went into the book and read the passage. And so I thought maybe I will use this as an opportunity to try to practice my clairvoyant skills and see what animal I can see in my mind's eye for each group and read the corresponding message. So for group number 3s, the image that came to my mind was that of a flamingo. So I'm gonna go into the book and find the flamingo page, which I'm quite certain it has, and see what message it has for you. Yes, we do have one. Okay, and I also want to mention that the passage is on the pages 112 and 113, 112, 113, just in case those are relevant numbers for you. So the flamingo says, avoid loud, noisy events and any chaotic or frenzied situations. Be ruthlessly honest with yourself as you check in and see if you're following your inner truth. Significantly increase the amount of vegetables in your diet that contain beta-carotene, such as carrots, broccoli, and spinach. Before taking action on the question before you, balance the information you're getting physically or intuitively by thinking it through carefully and logically. You've been isolating yourself too long, so it's now time to seek out the company and companionship of others. Whoa. Okay. So, what do I talk about first? I guess the first thing I want to say is that it seems like this is a month where you might have to unplug or disconnect a little bit, so that you can reflect on the overall direction of your life. And when I read this message of you've been isolating yourself too long, so it's now time to seek out the company and companionship of others, my mind immediately went to soul family, or like a soulmate, or some tribe who is out there missing you, and they're saying like, it's been too long, we've been apart for too long, it's time to find each other, it's time to come into union. I got this overwhelming emotion when I read this final passage. It's like the current environment you're in or the current people you're around, it's like this isn't you, or this isn't your home, or there's a feeling of being lost and wanting to find your group. With this message here, eat more vegetables, that's pretty straightforward. I don't think I'm going to go too deeply into that. But let's get into the reading now. So I want to start by rolling the Astro dice, which I feel like I haven't used these in a while, so I brought them back to spice things up. And we're going to use this to see the most significant change for you, or the most significant blessings for you in the month of November. Okay, so we have, look, the number 7, which talks about relationships and partnerships. So absolutely, there's a soulmate or there's a soul family that is calling to you. Or if you don't resonate with those labels, people that you will truly vibe with on a spiritual level, people you will truly be on the same wavelength with and enjoy beautiful, healthy connections with. So that's the biggest blessing for you this month. And oh my gosh, for the planetary placement, we have the North Node. So this would talk about moving towards your destiny, moving towards your life purpose. So this together is like destined partnerships. And then we have the sign of Scorpio here. So that could be the zodiac sign of someone significant, or this is indicating that while the sun is in Scorpio this month is going to be a significant time. So I don't know the exact dates of Scorpio season, but it tends to end around the early 20s of November. You know, like 21st, 22nd, 23rd, I'm pretty sure. So roughly the first 3 weeks of the month might be especially significant for you guys. But Scorpio, this is an energy that is deeply transformative, and especially in the context of like fated connections, Scorpio is making me think of a very deep intimacy. Like really bearing it all in front of someone. And I think this is like an experience of true love where it's like, I don't love you just for your surface or just for the parts of you that you present outwardly. And I don't love you for what I project onto you. I love you for the real you, each and every layer of it, the good, bad, and the ugly. Because Scorpio energy really does get down to the ugly parts of us, to the hidden or taboo, finger quote, parts of us, to the wounded parts of us. Scorpio goes very deep. It's very intense. I feel like these are also connections that will activate like a very, very deep well of emotion within you. Like your soul is ready for deeper connections. And I don't know if this resonates for everyone, but there was that feeling with the flamingo of like, some of you have kind of been living as a persona to fit in with your flock of flamingos. Because I heard someone saying, and I think it was like a member of your soul family, like, this isn't you, or this isn't your home, and it's been too long. It's time to come home. It's time for us to find each other. It's time for us to be ourselves, like as individuals. And I'm thinking of how, don't flamingos eat, I think they eat shrimps or something, and then they turn pink. So it's like you've been in your current environment for so long that you've kind of died into the color of it. But if you remove yourself from that, that color will start to fade away and you'll remember who you truly are. So I think that's why there was that message of withdrawing a bit. And there was that message of avoiding chaotic or frenzied situations. Two things coming to my mind with that. One of them could be that you guys are highly empathic. So being in really crowded public spaces could be very tiring for you in general, but especially this month as your abilities are heightening. Just like picking up energy that is not yours can be very, very draining. And so you might be a little bit like feel called to withdraw more or to not shut down, but just disconnect more. And then the other one was, if you guys are the type that like go out drinking or go out partying or things like that, this might be a month to cut down on that or to not do that at all. Just to kind of detox yourself. Or in general, like even that analogy of like you stop eating the shrimps and then your body turns back to its original color. This might be a month of detoxing, eating more vegetables, eating more healthy foods, and maybe we're gonna like cut back on drinking this month or smoking this month or caffeine or whatever, or sugar, whatever you're like, oh, it sounds so bad, like drug of choice, your substance of choice is. We're like cleansing our physical body. But wow, it sounds like a deeply transformative month so far. I also want to pull a couple of cards from the homemade oracle deck, and this isn't necessarily like a repeating angel number, but when I did look up just now, I saw 811 on the camera timer, and I thought maybe August 11th or actually November 8th, if you reverse those numbers. August 11th or November 8th might be significant dates, whether that's like a birthday or a date that something significant would happen. We have moving and relocating as one of the main themes. We have, destiny. So we have the North Node and we have destiny. And then we have justice, which relates to the 7th house because it relates to Libra energy. Justice also makes me think of some good karma coming to you. So You're maybe relocating to a destined place, connecting with destined people, and this is like your good karma coming to you. Wow. And justice, it's also about balance. It's also about reciprocity. This is really powerful energy. So we're going to move into the tarot and oracle cards now. I also just saw 9/22 when I looked up September 22nd. I'm just really, I don't know, I'm really on a roll with the dates for this group for some reason. But let's start off with your general overview. So we have the sun, so that's Leo energy. Yeah, we have Libra and Scorpio, which I think I mentioned. And oh my gosh, 1919. So we have the sun and we have opportunity. Interesting. You know what I feel? This is definitely a straightforward message of opportunities coming. 19 reduces to 1, which is new beginnings, but it's also about taking action, taking initiative, being confident, going after what you want. And the message here is not simply just like an opportunity is coming your way, but it's rather an encouragement for you to like go out and chase an opportunity, or go out and make an opportunity. The sun is also very creative energy, and it can talk about success and opportunities coming to us because of like a brilliant idea that we had, or because of something that we created. So it's like we're not just passively waiting for something to come our way, but we're really actively pursuing it. We're really putting ourselves out there. So yes, opportunities will come to you if you go out there and look for them. And it's the same thing with your destiny, whether that's like destined relationships, whether that's a soulmate or anything in your destiny. Like, yes, it is destined for you, but you still have to go out there and find it. You still have to take the action. It cannot just show up at your doorstep. My friend used this analogy of pizza once, and I really liked it. But it's like, if it's your destiny in life to eat pizza, like spirit can make you bump into so much pizza in your life, can show you pizza on billboards everywhere, make you accidentally walk into pizza shops, or even have pizza delivered right to your house. But it cannot, the universe cannot like take your hand and make you pick it up and eat the pizza. So it's like, yes, the universe can do a lot to help you become aware of your destiny, and the universe can really shove it in your face. But at the end of the day, you have to take that action towards it. So I think what we're seeing here is like, this is spirit confirming to you that signs and synchronicities that you have been seeing about people, things, places that are meant for you. The signs are less so saying this is just what's going to happen to you. The signs are more saying, hey, look at this. This is what you should be moving towards. This is what you should be taking action towards. It's more of a green light for you saying, go for it, go for it. And that's what the number 1 is. The number 1 is like a go for it number. It's that masculine, pursuing, action taking energy. And this is just spirit letting you know, like, if you do nothing, or if you're in a passive energy, I'll say things could be delayed. It's like a GPS, and the more, oh, that's interesting too. Like if you guys have gotten timing predictions, like if it's 8 o'clock and the GPS says 8:30, but then you just idle in your car for 20 minutes, then it's going to readjust to 8:50. So if you guys are wondering like, why are things getting later and later and later, it could be because of a lack of action. Because this is like, we need to make our own opportunities, or we need to go out there and chase them. And we have creative versatility. Diversity is a strength, not a weakness. A painter does not just use one paintbrush or color. The writer has more than one muse. So on this similar topic, it could be, and I don't have this deck. I think I left it in Canada, but it was like a Buddhism oracle deck. And there was one of the deities on it had like a lot of arms, and that's the one that's coming to my mind right now. And it says try many different things, or there are many different ways to do something. So we might need a little bit of creativity here. It might be time to change things up in your life, to look for new opportunities, to look for new places, to try a different role. I feel like you guys, you definitely have multiple talents, and maybe this is spirit saying that it's time to pursue a different talent of yours or pursue a different interest of yours. So maybe one of your things is, I'm just going to go with creative things because it's easy, but of course it can be anything. Maybe one of your talents is like modeling, and you're really good at modeling, you really like fashion, so you have a career as a model. But then another one of your talents that you really like is interior design or something. So Spirit's kind of saying maybe you should try exploring another one of your talents. Maybe you should seek for opportunities somewhere else. It's maybe something that you didn't realize was like a promising future for you, or maybe something you felt was unrealistic, but it's calling you back now. This is really strange. I did have a taste in a different group, but I'm tasting, it's some kind of nectar. You know, when it's like fruit juice, but it's not juice, it's nectar, and it's like more thick. I feel like it's often peach nectar or pear nectar or something like that. It's just like a thick fruit juice, and it tastes kind of concentrated. And that's the taste I have right now, like concentrated fruit. And I did not eat anything like this before. The last thing I ate was mint gum, and before that it was not fruit. Okay, anyway, let's look at some astrological cards. Wow, we have Pluto, so that corresponds with Scorpio energy, and this is also definitely a deeply transformative energy and an indication that it's time to make some big changes in your life, or big changes are coming in your life. Let me just move these over. And then, wow, adjustments are required. I think this is of course for November, but I think the next 3 months could be very significant for you guys. And, you know, very straightforwardly, this is saying that some changes are required in your life. But what the Pluto card is clarifying with that is that these are not just like little tweaks, you know, like little tweaks to my daily routine or something like that. Pluto is foundational change. It's like radical change. So this is Spirit saying some major changes need to be made in your life to redirect you to your destiny. And I feel like when this happens, there's going to be a pretty intense release of emotion, because your soul has longed for these changes for a long time and longed to be on a certain path for a long time. And when we release the old way of being, and when we release the old path and get on our destined one, it feels like, I guess it's just such a huge relief for your soul, and it's reconnecting with a joy that your soul wondered if they would experience again, at least in this lifetime. It's reconnecting to a divine love that's within you. Wow, it's like changing the course of your life, changing the path of your life. Let's look at the tea leaf cards now. So these could be specific events of the month, things to look forward to, things to look out for, or just further messages from your guides. Holy crap, you will be playing a different role. So for a lot of you, this has to do with career change, or like a change in your studies, just pursuing something completely different. We have angel, spiritual guidance, protection from harm. So this is divinely guided. And we have fly, a period of ill health and depression. I feel like this may be something that you guys are currently going through, and something that your angelic guidance is trying to help you out of, and something that your soul is trying to get out of. It's almost like Your divine guidance is trying to remind you that you have wings. And even these people are flying. I feel like for many of you, it's time to like go somewhere else. And it feels quite dramatic. It's like starting your life over somewhere else, or like pursuing something very different. It's time for you to take on this different role, to spread your wings and fly, and know that you're protected. I also feel like if this does resonate with you, and like you've been thinking of doing this, a diet change could be very significant. Like there could be some things that you're consuming that you have a sensitivity to, or even like an allergy to, that you don't realize, that it's messing with your physical energy, or that's messing with like your mental clarity or your mental state. Just thinking about that flamingo analogy and this fly that's like eating garbage. It doesn't mean that you guys are eating garbage, but you could be consuming something that your body just doesn't like. Or maybe you do have a poor diet, I don't know. But if it resonates with you, that message is there as well. Like changing what you put into your body could make a big difference in like your alertness, your energy, your clarity. Yes. So I think that's it for the general overview part. So let's move on now to the specific areas of your life. As you can see, there's one tarot card and one oracle card each for love and relationships, career and studies, and spiritual and personal growth. I don't know why I didn't think to mention this before, but I was so on a roll with the dates, and the 19th could be a significant day of the month too. So yeah, let's get into it. We're going to start off with your love and relationships. So for your tarot card, oh my gosh, we have the Six of Cups. Okay, let me just drink some water and let me calm down. Now, what's interesting about the Six of Cups is that this is also related to Scorpio energy. So there's a ton of Scorpio energy here. Scorpio, Scorpio, Scorpio. I mean, it is Scorpio season in November, so maybe it's just that. Or maybe it's just really the theme of like intense transformation for you guys. The major arcana that relates to Scorpio is the Death card, which is a complete and total transformation. It's a metamorphosis. It's not like a caterpillar transforming to a bigger caterpillar. It's a caterpillar transforming to a butterfly, completely changing shape. I feel like you guys you're reinventing yourselves. You're transforming. This is obviously a process that goes much longer than November, but this is just the timing. I think that your guides wanted to bring this to your attention or really strongly confirm this to you. Wow, I believe this is the sun in Scorpio. Yeah, so again, when the sun is in Scorpio this month, the first 3 weeks I feel like is going to be significant. But wow, yeah, the Six of Cups is a soulmate card, so that really, really confirms the earlier messages. In this deck, it kind of reminds me of the Four of Wands as well, which is also a card that I associate with soulmates and divine counterparts. It's because of this archway. It just reminds me of the wands sticking out of the ground in the Four of Wands card. And it literally looks like these people are getting married. I know that they're children, so that's kind of weird, but it's just the way they're standing under the archway. It looks like that to me. So getting married or getting engaged or meeting the person that you're going to marry or deepening your relationship with your spouse could be significant changes this month. A message for those of you who are married: I feel like your spouse is going to be really supportive of you going through these changes if you feel called to pursue them. Like, they're going to be receptive of how you're feeling and offer support and offer understanding. And like whatever you want to do, whatever changes you want to make, we'll go through it. And I think that's really, really nice that you will have that support. Wow, I think it's time. It's almost like your soul is bored. like your soul wants something more, because I'm looking at these 4 empty cups that are making me think of the 4 of Cups, and then these are making me think of the Ace of Cups. They're like overflowing. It's your emotional fulfillment. It's your happiness. So your soul is moving towards your true happiness. And for some of you, a big part of that is like a union with a soulmate. And of course, a soul family as well. The 6 of Cups is, to me, it really highlights the deep familiarity that we have with someone. That familiarity that we can't explain. It's like we already know them. It feels like we've known them for forever from the second we meet them. And it just feels like home. This is a very like sweet, innocent, and pure energy. And also, when it comes to this card that does talk about childhood, it can indicate to me like a soulmate whose energy you've felt around you for a very long time, or even since you were a child, even though you may not have realized they were like a real human, but you were feeling their energy for a very long time. This can also be indicating relationships deepening with your children, or like news regarding the arrival of a child, or news regarding children, because this is about all types of relationships. And this could also be a confirmation that your child or children are your soulmates, or that your future children are watching over you right now. But needless to say, you are exactly aligning with the souls that you are meant to be with. And then, wow, so many messages of change. I feel like a lot of you, this is like divine redirection. And one of the reasons for that is a soulmate union. So if you feel like life is blowing you in a completely different direction at this time, this is likely a process to facilitate union. Absolutely. And then of course, for those of you who are already with your partner, already married, I think this is them supporting you through this time of change, because I'm hearing like for those of you who are married, they're like, this is what I promised to. Like when I made my vows, I'm going to love you and support you in all of your seasons. When you look like this tree, when you look like this tree, spring tree, summer tree, fall tree, winter tree, I'm here for all the seasons. And I'm here to support that tree while it grows. I'm here to be the sturdy roots of the tree, and also the branches that extend up to the heavens. Oh, what a beautiful energy for your love and relationships. Okay, so next we'll take a look at the cards for your career or studies. We have the 10 of Wands and intentions. Plant the seeds and watch them grow. Okay, so the number 10 is about endings. Well, endings and new beginnings. And I think it's very interesting that this 10 of Wands person is walking right towards the change card. Oh, wow. You see how it is? The 10 of Wands person, it looks like they're walking away from this tiny seedling, and they're walking towards this big, this big boy tree. I feel like you guys have been, this is either an indication that in your career or studies, you've been playing it small, or you've been undervalued, underpaid, under-reciprocated in what you're doing. I think the 10 of Wands is related to Saturn in Sagittarius. That will be awkward if I'm wrong, but I feel like that placement is relevant. The planet Saturn is here. Yeah, I think it's Saturn in Sagittarius. No, it is. And you know, Sagittarius is meant to be a very expansive energy. This came up in another reading. It's meant to be expansive, ambitious, reach higher and higher heights, keep growing. And not only that, but as it grows, to keep generating more and more abundance and more blessings. But when we put Saturn energy there, Saturn energy becomes restrictive, for that Sagittarius energy. So something is like stunting your growth, I think, in your current career situation or study situation. I feel like I don't know if you could be being underestimated. You could be in an environment where like you're not taken seriously, or you're not given the proper environment to really develop your skills. Or the people you work with could be very well aware of how capable you are, but it's in their best interest to keep you where you are. Or like I said, this could be you working really hard and not getting like the credit you deserve, or the recognition you deserve, or the pay that you deserve. Because the 10 of Wands does indicate like carrying a burden that is too heavy, or like you're doing all this hard work by yourself, and for what? It can indicate like burnout, it can indicate stress. It's like, it just feels like you're putting in all of this effort, and your guys are kind of asking you like, for what? And that's such a like blunt way of saying it, but it's like, you deserve more. You deserve more, you deserve to go bigger. It's like this situation where you're doing more, you're becoming more capable, you're putting in more efforts, but what you get out of it is staying the same. And it's like, no, we want to keep growing. We want it to grow in correlation with each other. Like the more work I do, the more abundance I get back. The more value I create, the more value I get out of it. And that's justice too. Justice is all about the balance. What you give into it, you must get out of it. You must reap what you sow. When you plant the seeds, you get this big tree. And I feel like what's happening is either like you're planting the seeds and then someone else gets the rewards, or you're planting the seeds and then like nobody is watering them, or something like that. Your work is not being valued or rewarded fairly, or you're not in an environment that lets you reach your full potential. So this is why, I think this is why your guides, your soulmate, your soul family are calling for like a deep change. And look, she's moving, she's going somewhere else. And there's like a city in the background. We're going, maybe we're moving to another city or something. Okay, so finally we're gonna look at the cards. Ooh, I just saw 3131. There is no 31st of November, so never mind that. But let's take a look at the cards for spiritual and personal growth. Oh, we have the 10 of Pentacles, and it's another tree. Another tree that is growing nice and tall. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know if you guys like have children, or if you're thinking of having children, but it's like, think of the children, or like think of the generations to come after you. Maybe by yourself, you're thinking like, oh, I can take this burden, I can handle this situation. But if you shift your focus and think about like, what can I do to provide not only best for myself, but for my family, for my children, for my loved ones. It's like, of course, eventually we want to get to that place where you feel like, I deserve more than this. I deserve more abundance in my life. I deserve better than this. But if it's hard to reach that place now, maybe you can think of it as like, my loved ones deserve better, or my kids deserve better. If you think about it in the sense of how you can provide more abundance for them, at this point, maybe that would be like a helpful motivator to change things in your life. Of course, the ideal is that we do this for ourselves, but that might make that emotion just that much stronger, I think is what they're trying to say. There it is. But I just think it's so sweet that all the family is watching the tree grow. This really just confirms to me that whatever changes you're making in your life, your loved ones will be on board. They will be. And these are changes that you're making for your long-term future. These are changes that will carry you into your stable, abundant, and prosperous future, and align you with your true family, with your soul family, with the family that you will create from here on out, whether that's a partner, whether that's children, whether that's companion animals, whether that's friends. This is your North Node. This is what your soul is calling you to. Your home, your family, your beautiful big tree. And for your Oracle card, we have action. So, and look at that again. Look, we have this person walking towards the big tree. I don't know, if are trees like a special symbolism for you guys? Like, please let me know if trees are a significant symbolism. But again, it's like, if we're passive or if we don't do anything, the universe can only do so much. So this reading is like really your call to action. This is your confirmation. This is your green light. Wow. So we're gonna finish off this reading with some cards from the fallback oracle deck. Okay, my group number 3s. Everything is always working out for me. Courage. Fear is natural. It invites us to be brave, accept and face what scares you. Keep going. You are on the right path. The seeds you are planting will grow. Success is guaranteed. And let's get one more. Pause. Take a moment. Close your eyes. Relax your body. Just breathe slowly, deeply. Okay, my group number 3s. These are all the messages. I just saw 35. These are all the messages that I'm seeing for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. And you can also follow me on Instagram, where I post weekly pick a card readings, as well as new moon and full moon readings. And I also have a music channel. The song that you guys heard at the very start of this video was an original song, so if you're interested in listening to the full version of that song or any of my other ones, the music channel will be linked down below for you as well. Group number 3s, I'm sending you guys so much love. Much love to your soul family and to your spiritual team as well. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.